Hello. This video has been quite difficult to make. I've had to re-record it many times. And that's because I kind of want it to be timeless. The problem I found with that is that it's just so all-encompassing. Like, I recorded for like an hour before this, just talking, and I came to a lot of conclusions, and I kind of went everywhere with it because it's so all-encompassing. It's the fact that our beliefs of AI doomerism and how information is vitally important to us as a species, as humanity. We love information. We just eat that up. That's why we scroll for hours trying to get that one piece of information that we think we needed. That's why we put ourselves in the Skinner box. And that's why we want the information. It's pleasurable. But we need to think a little bit about this. We need to think about the way that we're consuming this information, and also the fact that all information is like a 17th hand-me-down from the actual information that was originally at the source. People talk about how the internet's dead and how AI is creating like massive amounts of false information, which is true. I don't know if the internet's dead, it's just whatever. But what I really want to talk about, okay, and this might be a longer video, we'll see, is how AI doomerism is going to kill you. It's going to kill you, and it's going to kill me, and it's going to kill all of us if we keep dooming. So stop dooming. But I want to add some more nuance to this, okay? Let's start with information, okay? Information is a valuable asset to our brains. We really want information. We really like getting more of it, even if it's false or even if it has weird implications, even if it's nonsensical. We love information. Now, with that, we also have a belief. I don't know why, but all of humanity, for as long as it's been recorded, has been talking about how the end times are coming and how we are all gonna die. I don't know if it's a certain type of person, if there's a certain genome that's been spread and causing people culturally to believe that humanity will end. It's all the way back to the Mayans, probably before them, the pharaohs, I don't know. We're always talking about how the world's gonna end. And, well, it hasn't, obviously. And I don't think it will. And then, as a little more exposition, I want to talk about my belief on anxiety and depression and fear. So, with fear, it's much more primal than anxiety or depression. I think it's like, first stage primal, second stage primal. I don't know. I like making up models in my brain, so bear with me. But the fear, the primal fear, we see the bear, we get scared, and then we run away, we fight, we flight, we freeze, we do whatever. That's primal. That's seeing the thing we're scared of and acting. Anxiety and depression is not that. It's not acting. There isn't a thing you can do at this moment, a place you can go to just not have anxiety or depression anymore. It's much more long-term. It's a lot more suffering. And I also kind of believe, could be wrong, that anxiety and depression are two sides of the same coin. And it's a fear of the future and a fear of the past. Of the past that is like, I can't control what I've done in the past, and I don't really have any self-belief about my future or whatever. Anxiety is fear of the future, depression is fear of the past. There's probably better ways to put this, but you get my point. And now that we have these three pieces of exposition about information, about fear, and about people always talking about how humanity is going to end, we can get to the main point of the video. And I want to create a little model in your head, because my mind is full of models, and it's kind of how I process the world. People have ways of thinking, they have beliefs, they have their own models, whatever they may be. But a little model that I like having attached with all the other ones is knowing that I'm wrong, and that the information I have probably isn't right, and that I don't really have any absolute knowledge or beliefs. I guess I just allow myself to change whenever I need to. Because there are times when I'm wrong, and whenever you're wrong, just like blatantly, this is wrong, then you should change. You shouldn't double down, even if it's kind of funny. But no, you have to be able to change. That is what humanity has kind of become, or like created. Our willingness to change has allowed us as a species to take over the planet. And whenever we see these problems, I guess this will also be a little more exposition until we get to the main point. We are problem-solving creatures. And whenever we see these problems and we think this is an information problem, let's go find the information. And I have some bad news about that, but there's so much wrong information and tainted information. There is also a lot of fantastic information and a lot of very useful information. So, similar to the two sides of the same coin with anxiety and depression, we're going to look at another two sides of a coin. And this being information problems and, I guess, like critical thinking problems. Knowledge problem, information problem, interchangeable. But it is a problem that the answer is something. It's a number, it's a animal, it's in a category. And we don't really need those problems anymore. Sometimes it's useful, but there is a tool we have that collects mountains of information and then is able to calculate it in a certain way in order to give a certain number or a category, whatever it is. It finds it and it gives it to you, and you have this information now. Yippee. And the critical thinking problem is the problem of having many solutions, many possible solutions. What are you going to do about the economy? Or what are you going to do about this bridge? How are you going to build it? You got water in the middle, and you got these two like nice mountains, and you got to put a bridge between that. How are you going to do that? You know, you can do it by the books, you can do it crazy style or animal style, but it's not a single answer. It's not a point of information. It's not a factoid. It's grander. It requires a lot of information in order to create something that will probably work, and that's kind of all we need. And The unfortunate reality is that there's going to be a lot of change. There always is a lot of change. But the main point of this change is how information is going to stop being a difficult task to find. And there's gonna stop being, I guess, industries related to finding this information. If we look at it grander economically and not look at it as a person's self-belief, but that information is losing its value because there's obviously this huge amount of information inflation that is, coming from all this AI slop. And it's just not that hard to find anymore. You can ask an AI anything, and it will pop out with an answer. If this answer is true, that's debatable, but what it's not doing is solving complex problems. And that is where value will come. Well, give me a moment. We're still on our exposition part, so I don't want to make any grand gestures or conclusions just yet. But we have our information. Humans love information. And we have our fear and our dichotomous depression and anxiety. And this fear is rooted, in contemplation of the future. And we have our... Sorry, I'm just trying to make a mental model of this because this video is amazing or whatever. It's something I'm kind of passionate about. And so I want to make sure I do it right. And we have our information problems and our critical thinking problems. And now, maybe, let's see if we can put this all together. You might be able to see how this could work together. Humans love information, and so we're using AI to get all this information. We're using TikTok or YouTube Shorts to get this information that we think we want, but we don't really need. And I remember our final point of exposition. This one's very important, so listen up. There are two kinds of people. People with autonomy and people without autonomy. This comes from many different factors, whether it is self-belief, that I believe I have autonomy, or whether it's your circumstances of I don't have autonomy because I am, which is also similarly rooted in self-belief. But there are extraneous circumstances, of course. And this is the big one. If you don't have a self-belief of autonomy, then you will never be able to find meaning and purpose in your life. Now, that I just said, that is wrong. That is incorrect. That is false. Let's take a look back into the 1950s, 1980s. Back then, you had jobs that you would go into your job and you would work for your company, and you would work there for 25, 30, 40 odd years, and it would be stable, and you would maybe, hopefully, feel like you had a greater sense of purpose, that you putting all this effort into this job let you do something good for the world, something that aligned with your beliefs. And that's not the case anymore. unfortunately, you can't work for a company for that long. It just doesn't happen. Times are changing. People have to change. Now, that is the non-autonomous case, where you let things happen to you. You don't go out and try and do trailblaze or whatever an autonomous person might do. You just sit back and you let reality take you. You let your life follow the set of circumstances that is most probable for you to go down. And if that's working in your corporation for 50 years, then that's the path that you go down. And that's the non-autonomous path. Now let's look at the autonomous one. You have choices, and you have a lot of time, a scary amount of time, like 80 odd years of time. And what are you going to do with all that? And the non-autonomous person is not going to think about that. They're not going to be like, well, I'll just live. The autonomous person is going to instead think, okay, well, given the information that I have and the critical thinking skills I have for this, then I can critically think about my life. I can critically think about what I am going to do with it. What greater purpose will I fulfill? What meaning will I attribute to it? And these thoughts are very, very important. If you think that success can only be achieved via a blank, whatever it is, then you will hold yourself to that standard of whatever success means to you. And the non-autonomous person is going to think that this success set by company standard is, what they're going to do. And if you instead think about it in a little more autonomic way, then you have a success, a degree of success, an idea of success that is ever changing. And whenever you're equipped with the knowledge that my definition of success is constantly going to be changing throughout my life, and that I should really think about what I want to do. And there'll be a lot of influences to decide that decision. And what you want to do is also going to be ever changing. But if you are able to apply yourself to whatever you're trying to do, and you are setting goals, taking steps towards this ideal that you're setting, then amazing, you might get there. And now we're going to take a little pit stop here and instead think about this idea that there 20% of the actors do 80%, or affect the other 80%. You have 100%, 20% are doing things, the 80% is status quoing, continuing whatever there is that exists. And the 20% is the experimentation, I guess, that changes things, that grows, that does stuff. So now we need to think a little bit. The 20% influences the 80% greatly. And whenever you have an individual, you have a group of people, okay? They are not cut from the same cloth as real go-getter, trailblazer, autonomous people, the 20%, or the 80%, that, let life come to them and do the things and do whatever they do. And unfortunately, this is where we start making boxes of people. We start thinking that this 80% are useless. Some people might think that they actually have a negative effect, a negative impact, that the 80% are getting in the way of the 20%. And this is kind of where we get into ego battles about who is greater. This is where we get into eugenics, which is bad. That is bad. Okay? Eugenics is bad. And once you put people in boxes and you start thinking of, like, there's this certain group of people and they're doing all the things, and then there's this other group of people and they're just continuing whatever they're used to be doing, whatever is the status quo. And we don't want this, okay? People are not that simple, because we are creatures that create our own stories. We like to categorize things in certain ways. And this categorization causes a lot of growing ego and a lot of belief that I'm so much better than you. And none of that is true. What is true is that people are ever-changing creatures that cannot be predicted. And we have the boxes, okay? The boxes are made up in our mind, and they are fake boxes. And we shouldn't use these boxes to put people in boxes, because I hate putting people in boxes. Stop putting people in boxes. It's just evil. It's just bad. You just take away their potential in your mind. You can never know what a person is capable of. But you anticipate, you think you know what a person is capable of, and you put them in that box, and you shouldn't do that. So stop putting people in boxes. Side tangent over. Sorry for almost putting people in boxes. Okay, we can continue. The people that do things, and the people that have the possibility of doing things. This is difficult to talk about without putting people in boxes. So I'm going to figure out a way to do it, because I'm not going to put anybody in a box. Okay, we got to reorient my thinking in a way that allows me to get this point across. But you have a large group of people, okay? And in this large group of people, there is their belief that they can, that what they think they are capable of doing. And so they have these expectations. And there are also expectations that are put upon them of what they might do. And so these individuals start believing that they are only capable of doing whatever that is expected of them. This is not autonomy. And it's bad. People should believe that they are capable of doing whatever they think they want to be able to do. They should do what they want to do. And whenever you are setting expectations, you are creating a power dynamic, first, that your expectations have weights, that they should be met. Secondly, you're creating a standard in this power dynamic that, one, they should meet these expectations, and two, that whenever they meet them, that things are fine. They're good. And we need to remember that, first off, this power dynamic is only given legs if the person believes that, they should meet these expectations. So this is where our critical thinking comes in. And we create these critical thinking problems to be like, okay, I have these expectations set out for me. Do these expectations align with what I think I should be doing? And is meeting them actually going to help me? Now, once we have these ideas, this culmination of beliefs and expectations, and we understand that these power dynamics of, should we believe that other people's expectations of us are attainable or purposeful, then we can start creating our own expectations. And this is where the power comes in. This is where we get the ability to be our own people, to stop living at the expectations of others and to start living to our expectations of what I think I should be doing. I think I should be posting daily. I think I should be talking about things that are important to me, that I am passionate to talk about. Therefore, I'm doing those things, and these expectations are being met by me, that are being put down by me. Don't let people put down expectations on you that you, first off, can't meet, and second off, don't want to meet. Okay. Now for the main portion of the video, 27 minutes in. AI doomerism is is dissolving people's self-belief, self-efficacy of what they think they can do. And humanity, for a long time, has been thinking about how we're losing it, and we're all gonna die, and we have no autonomy, actually. False. This is wrong. We have autonomy. We give ourselves autonomy. And we, all that. And AI doomerism is bad because it takes away our autonomy. Now we have that down. And hopefully you can see, and you can start making some connections. God, I'm so thirsty. About how we, collective humanity, have put expectations onto people that, they should graduate high school, they should go to college, they should have a wife and 2.5 kids and a dog and a picket fence, and expectations about reality have been set by the culture. Now, culture is a bunch of hooey. Culture is useful, but it is not individual. It is generalized. And you as an individual are not generalized. You are an individual. That's the whole meaning of the word. And so, whenever you have your self-beliefs and your expectations set on you from greater culture, or from parental figures, or academic figures, or celebrity figures, whoever is putting this expectation on you, you need to think, is it what I want? Is it a good expectation? You have to take yourself out of, oh my God, I gotta meet this expectation, of this primal fear that if I don't meet this expectation, then I'm going to have punishments. This is our primal level 1 fear. This is our fundamental, oh my God, I gotta do this now, I gotta perform so this expectation is fulfilled. Then we abstract it one layer out and we get to our level 2 fear, our anxiety and our depression, our, oh my God, the world's gonna end, there's nothing we can do, we have no autonomy, I don't believe in any of the expectations set on me from these individuals against me, but I also have no expectations of myself. And I am giving away that autonomy to this belief that I am, useless, not gonna do anything, gonna die, gonna shouldn't listen to anyone because, everyone is wrong, but also I'm wrong. It's doomerism, it's nihilism, it is self-defeating belief, and it's hooey. So don't listen to it and get out of this type 2 fear. Doing that requires a change in your thinking and media consumption, probably. That one, we should have expectations of ourselves, and we should figure out what we want to do and allow ourselves to explore and experiment and find our greater purpose and meaning in life. And it's not the phone, I can tell you that, so stop looking at it, please. Technology, phone addiction, social media addiction is an addiction to this information. It's an addiction to the Skinner box that gives us little tidbits of information that we think are useful. And it's terrible, it's bad, it's hooey, it's whatever. And once we get out of this information box, this idea that we need this information, that we are creatures that desire information, but we are creatures capable of critical thinking, and that we should use that and not substitute it for anything, okay? And use this critical thinking in order to find our purpose and meaning in life. And have this autonomy from these expectations we set from ourselves. And this means you have to get away from your phone. Sometimes it means you have to get away from people. You have to take some time to yourself. You have to be alone, without technology, without people, and simply be with yourself and think. Give your brain a moment to take in all of reality, as every human does, of all of the facts and all of the beliefs that all of social media and all of the internet and the news and what everything is all encompassing of. We need to get away from that and throw it out for like a certain amount of time and just think, be alone with our thoughts, and simply allow ourselves to come to our conclusions about what might give us purpose in life. Once we find our expectation, we aim for this success. And we will also need to realize that this expectation and this idea of success is going to change. And thank God, holy cow, I did it. I got through this video. I said all the things that I needed to say. And now hopefully you can take this and remove yourself from all of this and find your purpose, find your meaning in life, and get away from all of it. And just exist for a while. And once you do, things will work out, I promise. Just, take my advice. Or don't. I'm just really happy I finally was able to wrap it all together. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a pleasure to make it. I am glad I finally got this little passionate part of me onto the internet, even if it's a little scuffed. Anyways, toodles.